4, 3, 2, 1.
Whether you've been married 1 or 20 plus years, at some point you realize you married into crazy. And that's what our show is all about. If your marriage or relationship is compassionate, real, accountable, zealous and yielding, or just plain crazy, Snooks and Lovey offer love, laughter, and a dose of reality as they unpack this thing called marriage. Sit back, relax, and get your ear hustle on. It's time to start the conversation.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy E.T. Look, if you're looking to or you got to raise the bar on your marriage, you gotta click the link and get into Married into Crazy, y'all. I'm telling you, this coaching is gonna take your relationship to another level. Now look, you already know you need to raise the bar. You know that already. So stop thinking or overthinking. Click that link, and Marriage into Crazy is gonna take you and your spouse to marital bliss. Now you know. Click the button. Let's go.
Welcome back to another episode of the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey. I'm Lovey.
I'm Snooks.
And we're jet set, y'all. We doing things. No, we're right off the heels of flying back in from New York last night and had a blast. We belong to this extreme business mastermind. As many of you know, we are extreme execution coaches. You know that's we couple that with our Gottman Institute training, level 1, level 2 for the Gottman couples therapy method. But we belong to this business mastermind, and we flew in for a media day where we were just doing camera work and videos, content, and had surrounded by some of the best minds in the United States.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It was a good time. We had a blast. So anyway, we're just on the heels of that. So if you see bags under my eyes, I would usually say it's Snooks keeping me up all night, but that's not the case.
I'm so sorry, y'all. This man, oh my gosh.
Hey, look, so for those of you that are new to the podcast, we are a married couple that have been together for 28 years, but married for 27. And we love to talk about all things marriage. It's really marriage, teamwork, and overcoming adversity, because I believe that marriage is the ultimate teamwork, right?
It should be, yeah.
Yep. And so we come to you, and we like to do wonderful things, like not just bring you some of our perspectives, but introduce you to interesting people, interesting couples, as well as subject matter experts.
Yeah. Not just people, but dynamic couples that are not afraid to show and share their love. That's what we really love about the people that we have on. I mean, it's Married into Crazy, but it should be called not just Married into Crazy, but Loving Like Crazy, because you could be married and just be like, oh, whatever. But, you know, when you are not afraid to show your love and shout out your partner and let everybody know how much you love and appreciate them. That's what's up. That's what I'm talking about.
That's right. And on the heels of love and appreciation, be sure to, wherever you're listening to us or watching us, whether it be YouTube or one of your favorite channels, if it's on audible.com, if it's on Pandora, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, wherever you are listening to us, you know, Podbean, one of the gentlemen that we met in New York was like, I listen to Podbean. Are you on there? We're like, hey, yes, sir. Get on there. Here's the card. Check us out. Go and show some love, right? We're asking that you subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. Go back in the inventory. Look, there's over 250 episodes. There's something there for everybody if you want to elevate your relationship from where you are to where you need to be, or you want to get some different perspectives. So make sure you do that. And while you're doing that, the easiest way, quite honestly, is to go to marriedintocrazy.com and look at the website. Hit some of the drop downs. You can access the podcast in a variety of ways. Doesn't matter if you're, Android or a part of the Apostolic Church.
Wow. Apostolic
But just go show some love. There's a lot of things. You can see all the different ways that we support marriage. But I want to get into this. I want to get into the fact that we are in the month of February 2024, right? And so that means that it is Black History Month. Also means that it's the month of love. By the way, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Month of Love sale over at shop.marriedintocrazy.com. Lots of new gear.
I was about to say, because check it out.
Hey.
Lovey actually designed this by himself. He did not need my help. Good job.
One of the few times. Now, she does dress me. I just work on the designs.
Only when he be looking like head to toe, like, oh, okay.
No, but go check it out. But what we wanted to do is take a unique perspective. We wanted to address Black history, But of course, we want to showcase love, and more specifically, Black love.
Right.
We're down for all love. We love marriage in many forms. But what we want to do is really talk about how Black love influences Black history. So we've brought on a very unique couple. I'm going to bring them in right now. We have De'Von and Sinclair.
Throw 'em up, throw 'em up.
Hey, there they are. There they are. And they, you may recognize them. We've had them on the show in the past. And a lot of it is because the fact that they're just an amazing couple. Not very many people get callbacks.
Love. Thank you. Thank you. And I think y'all might be on to something with that married into crazy love.
Hey.
Seriously,
That's what's
right?
up. So for those of you that don't know De'Von and Sinclair, or Declare, as we like to, first off, okay, so I'm going to call them out. Where's the handshake?
Oh, it's ready. Anytime, any place. Anytime, any place. Come on.
We have not been practicing. We should have, but
I said, I
Oh,
know.
y'all came with it last time. It was like, we got our own handshake now.
we did. We had to practice. Look, what you practice is what you commit to, right?
Right. Okay,
you know-
so bet we gonna start practicing again.
Yeah, we are. We are. Look, there's a saying from Atomic Habits that we don't rise to the level of our expectations. We fall to the level of our training or the level of our processes or
And
routines.
we fell. We
fail.
flat on the floor on that one. So yeah.
No handshake. Look, let me just get some dap. Let me get some
There
dap.
we go. Look, we don't even know if we want a high five or dap. So
So do me a favor. Do the crowd a favor. If you would, can you tell the folks who you are before we really jump into this?
Oh, yeah. So we are, two beautiful halves of two amazing ventures, Play Black Wallstreet and M4. My name is De'Von Devale, creator of Black Wallstreet, the board game. And what we do through Play Black Wallstreet is increase the level of financially free, community-focused entrepreneurs and expand how many people know about the legacy of Black Wall Streets all across America.
Right.
Queen.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sinclair Walker. I am also the other part of Play Black Wallstreet. Do a lot of behind the scenes work, operations, and logistics, all that fun stuff, as well as the co-host to our own podcast, the M4 Show, aka Melanated Married Millionaires in the Making. Shout out to me being able to
Well
say
done.
that the first time.
Well done.
A melanated millionaire.
millionaires in the making.
That's what I'm talking about. Give me the full title again. M4.
The M4 Show, Melanated Married Millionaires in the Making.
That's where we missed the married. Melanated married millionaires.
That's what's up.
In the making.
That's what's up. Listen,
Right.
it's going to be in the show notes. I mean, we're going to talk about the different ways that people can actually get in touch with you. But I'm challenging everybody to get into the show. You got to check out the M4 show. It's kind of dope. And we're learning from them because, they go live and do stuff like on the spot. So we're not quite there
Yeah,
yet.
we still trying to play catch up. So
Amen.
it's all
Amen.
good.
Constantly evolving.
Constantly evolving. Like, we were doing a lot of good live stuff. We got some good engagement, but we felt like the quality of our episodes weren't as high as they could be. So we're testing new things in this season where we have content days like y'all just had, where we have the videographers come to the house. We have everything set up. We have a real intentional script and outline set up, strong 30 minutes, get the people what they want and get on out of there. So
Got you.
we'll see how that new format helps us out in 2024.
Yep.
Cool.
That's what's up. Get in, get out, get rich.
Yep.
Yes. Period.
Yep.
Period.
That could be a song.
And look, so let's do this. What I want to find out, like, let me just start off this way. What does Black history mean to you?
Ooh, what does Black history mean to me? Black history is, for me, the affirmation of Black life and the Black experience. So I think sometimes people see, Dr. Martin Luther King or Malcolm X, and like, that's Black history. But I love the spin that y'all are doing on it, where it's like even the family unit, right? Even that small family experience of a couple getting together, having kids, passing down those traditions, passing down those habits, that culture to next generation. That small microcosm within the family is literally Black history. And when you have that being done across households, across a community, that's how we get to where we are today in 2024. So, I mean, I can go into all types of nooks and turns with it, because I'm reading A Life of Black History, which is all about Carter G. Woodson. right? The founder of Negro History Week. Dope life. But I'll keep it there.
Okay.
Queen,
I,
so
yeah, I like your description of it, the affirmation of Black life
mhm,
and the experience. I really like that. I think for me, thinking of it in a visual way, I think each of us are almost like, or at least our families are almost like their own little trees,
Mm-hmm.
where right now we're blooming, we're branching off into other other generations and things like that. But the history is the roots,
mm,
right? This is what really created the tree that we see now. And I think it's really important to know the roots, because you need to know what water it needs, right? You need to know what type of tree are we talking about? How much
yeah,
sunlight? I mean, you get the metaphor, but like, where do we come from, and what feeds our souls, what feeds our spirits, so that we know how to move forward.
mhm,
Mm-hmm. I love it.
No, that's good. That's good. And I think it's important because you're talking about the affirmation of Black life. I love that phrase because, we live in a time where there's, I'll just call it what it is, the way I see it, an assault on
Mm.
the affirmation of Black life and Black history. I mean, we have states like, I'm just going to call it out. We don't have
Flo-
big listenership in Florida right now anyway, so I'm not really worried about it. but in Florida, I mean, you got people that are changing history books talking about how slavery, provided beneficial skill sets. What?
Right.
I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. When people,
As if it was a choice.
right,
You had
that
the choice
part.
to go pick the cotton. We
When
didn't.
people are talking about how this is a beneficial way of life, and there were some good things about slavery, I just have a hard time with that. And the fact that it's in school systems, and that we're going to have a whole generation of children that are A, confused, B, going to get a rude awakening once they actually start entering the workforce, interacting with the rest of the world. There's a reckoning that's going to be building at some point because that's not the way it is, and that's not an affirmation of the way things truly are or were. So I think it's the onus of responsibility rests upon people like yourself, like us in our own little way, our spin, to make sure that we're talking about the things that are real, that are relevant, that are truthful.
Right.
right.
Well, I
And
mean,
this, oh,
I'm
go ahead.
sorry. Go ahead. Well, to your point, both of you, and even to you guys as entrepreneurs who created a fun way to learn. I feel like so much is placed. A lot of emphasis is about let's have fun. Let's this. Okay, well, we can do that. You've shown that we can have fun, but we can
Right.
also learn and be enlightened about what really happened. What's really going on. It's so important that as a community, and it's not just the responsibility of the Black community, but we need to take the lead on it because everybody should be involved in what is being said, the lies that are being perpetrated. You know what I'm saying? Because we didn't get here just by ourselves. Somebody created a narrative and everybody just went with it because that was the easy thing to do. So kind of like to your point about Florida, that's just one instance. It's just easier to go along with the status quo instead of putting your foot down saying, now good and daggone well. That is not what happened. So I that's why I just really applaud you guys so much too, because you recognize that, hey, there are going to be some people who don't want to crack open a book. So
Yep.
have some fun with it,
Right.
but still learn from it. So that's amazing. If I never said that to you all before, but I always thought that, you guys, you were ahead of the game when you're thinking in regards to let's create a game for people so that they can learn. Because we love to play games, don't we? We love games.
Amen. Amen.
Thing. There's a phrase, I might say it wrong, but it's hide the medicine in the sugar or put the sugar in the medicine. Which one is it, Health?
Right.
I know what phrase
You
you're
know what
talking
I'm talking
about.
about?
Yeah.
But I think that was our mindset when we created Black Wall Street, the board game. Because even for me, as a scholar growing up, first off, I didn't become a scholar until like a couple years ago, right? all, all throughout like middle school, all throughout high school, I didn't like to read at all. I didn't really like rock with school because I didn't see myself in the curriculum, right? It wasn't a
Right.
positive experience. So, and then in creating the game, we had that in mind. We were like, all right, if kids are going to learn about this, they're not going to read the books. They're not going to watch the documentaries, right? They're going to be on their phones or something. So how can we make it to where they're having fun, they're engaging with the real businesses of Tulsa Black Wall Street, and they're also learning all at the same time in a fun way? But I wanted to go back to something you said earlier, Ernie. You said like we're learning in the education system, they're changing what we're learning, and we're not learning the truth anymore. And that's something that Carter G. Woodson talked about in his book, The Miseducation of the Negro, that was written almost 100 years ago. He talks about a school system that hides the truth, that hides Black history, and teaches us in a particular way. Us and everyone else in America teaches them a particular type of history, a particular type of science, a particular type of math to get an outcome, right? And I think today, 100 years ago, with the restructuring of a lot of education that we're seeing the miseducation of America come back again. And I think it's our responsibility as media hosts through podcasts, gaming people, health nerds. Like, it's our responsibility, I think, as entrepreneurs in the community to kind of take ownership over some of those things, and how do we educate our community from our lens?
Right.
I think we're still seeing it as people become more enlightened about the history of Black Wall Street, right? We do a lot of tabling events, and usually one of the first questions we ask somebody when they approach our table is, what do you know about Black Wall Street? Or have you heard about Black Wall Street? Just so we can know, like, where do we start off in this conversation, right? Am I teaching you about this history, or am I just kind of showing you how we've turned it into the game? But you'd be surprised how many people say, oh yeah, I've heard of it. And then, we probe a little bit further. What do you know about it? Tell me what you know about it. And usually they know that, oh, well, and they're usually going to take a step back and they're like, oh, well, I know it was destroyed, right? It was like bombed and destroyed, it's successful, a community bombed and destroyed. And that's all that they know. And I think it's wonderful. It's a step above where we were before, where nobody even knew about the history. I think it's wonderful that people are at least aware that it existed, but still what they're being taught now is that it was destroyed. Which is a very important part of the history. And even we still incorporate it in the game. However, it's not the enlightening part, right? It's the unfortunate and kind of
traumatic ending that kind of reminds you, don't fly too high, don't try too hard, because they can destroy it. And that's not what we want to teach. So I know you were about to go ahead, keep going.
No, it's just the whole point of the game is highlighting the successful entrepreneurship, successful economic community that was there. Because again, we don't want to discredit what happened to the community. It did happen. But we also want to talk about, like, what were some of the businesses that were there, because that's the part that's not talked about, right? How the dollar circulated there for 300 days before it left the community. Those things that are very empowering, like, wow, we can, because there's, we talk about like supporting Black businesses. And I think that's a big movement right now. How can you buy Black? And I think knowing that we've done it several times in the past, and in the present, I think is enlightening to know that, like, we have a blueprint for this. We're not coming and building something new that hasn't existed before. So I think if we can use these communities as a blueprint, it can help us get there further and faster.
For sure.
Love it.
So I love that. So, it's interesting. And it is. It's incorporated in the game. I mean, we were learning as we were like, oh, okay, cool. This is some stuff that, and again, we were like the masses. Like, yeah, I knew about it being burned down. And then you start gaining exposure to other people. Like, we have a friend that has a company called Greenwood Golf, and he brings homage to, Greenwood, but does it through teaching golf and applying some historical references, as he's working with youth. So I think there's a lot of individuals that are really trying to do their best to put puzzle pieces in place to make sure that we can kind of counter that misrepresentation and the miseducation that's happening in America. But I want to ask a question as it pertains to love as well.
Let's do it.
So, based on your perspective, so beyond romantic love, how does Black love manifest in, I'll call it, your community that you're interacting with, but also your individual lives? And how does it tie into what you're doing on a grand scale?
Ask that one more way, in a different way. Because I'm make sure I don't go completely left on you. So I want to make sure I'm answering the question.
So let me do this. Okay, so outside of romantic love, because I think everyone is familiar with romantic love, but I want to know, how does Black love manifest in your individual life and community? How are you showcasing Black love? And how does that tie into Black history?
Got you. Okay, so how I see this question is really self-love,
Hmm.
right? How do you see Black love and how we engage with our mentorship program? And we're teaching literally fourth grade, fifth grade students how to identify their personal UVP, unique value proposition, what makes them special, what makes them unique, and help them craft a business out of it, right? So kind of just giving that like small mentorship and small mirror for our students, like, hey, you're special, you're amazing, right? You're a genius. That's one of the affirmations that I say in our class. Like, I am wealthy, I'm a genius, and I'm a millionaire. How can we pour into ourselves? The other way that I think we are supporting Black love is I was doing a speech the other day, and it was a student that was from Belize, and we had just gotten back from
Hmm.
Belize, right? And I was like, "Oh yeah, it was a beautiful country. It was my first time ever being there. I went to Belize." He was like, "No way, you went to Belize? My grandma's Belizean," and it was just like that moment of connectivity, right? That moment of we're unified, right? You went to my home country, and then he got on stage. And he was like, "I'm Afro Latino." Another person was like, "You're not Afro Latino. You're Caribbean because you're from Belize." And that it was a whole little argument there. But at the end of the day, I brought them all together. Like, no matter where you're from, we're
Right.
all part of the African diaspora. We're all part
Right.
of this same beautiful community. And I think, to me, that is the root of Black love. Understanding that we're all connected and we're all part of that one big family, whether you speak Swahili, Spanish, Mandarin, Twi, Creole, Patois, like no matter what you speak, we're all connected through the African diaspora.
Yeah, that's good.
Good.
I think for me, we are very intentional with the game, with the programs that have come from the game, to make sure that what someone's experience is when they're playing it is impactful. So, again, using the real businesses on our board game, we could have made businesses up and still called it Black Wall Street, the board game, right? But we used the real businesses on the board game. We incorporated the real history, and even in our other, whenever he speaks, he's very intentional about the words he uses, the energy he puts out there. And so I think that intention that we're putting into our products, into the way we show up in the world, even the fact that we now have employees and we're really digging into company culture now and making sure that everybody that we bring on board is on brand with our company culture. Um,
Love is one of our core values.
it is literally one of our core values, and making sure that we expand that even to our own organization and to our employees. So I think just that intention that we're putting into the work that we do is a form of Black love, because it's a form of not only, like you said, self-love, but also how we're, again, showing up and trying to make that impact in the world. We've had the opportunity. We might have talked about this in previous episodes when we brought us on, but we had the opportunity, to get in front of venture capitalists who recommended that we take Black out of it and just make Wall Street the board game, right? We could have done that. We might be in very different places now, right? Who knows, that version could have skyrocketed and been on every Target shelf in the country, right?
Right.
But we have been, succeeding at the mission we, stood out to create. No, it would have been a completely different game. It would have been a completely different mission. And so we said, nope, thank you. We're not going to take this money. We're gonna take the road less traveled, because this is the one that gives back to our community, that shows
Right.
that love, that Black love to our community, because that's what we set out to do. So I think those are very intentional decisions and things that we've been able to make as a form of Black love.
And that goes to, I know we were joking about it. We were talking about Cat Williams earlier, right? And Cat Williams in his interview was talking about how different people are making decisions that are against their values or against their morals to get success.
Mm,
And I think when you're on your road to success, there's going to be a lot of temptation, a lot of shortcuts that you can take that are going to be against your morals, but may get you to that quote unquote goal faster. And you really need to, as an entrepreneur, as a successful lawyer, doctor, teacher, educator, whatever it is that you do, you need to figure out, what is my why?
mm,
What
Right.
is my mission? And is this shortcut, is this loss of morals, loss of my soul worth the end goal that I'm trying to get to?
mhm,
Right. I like that. And even just speaking about that, that's like the same, almost the same thing as like remembering your why, but also knowing what are your non-negotiables, you know. And that's a thing that we have to, I know we've spoken about it before, like when we first met, I had a list of these are non-negotiables, and I stuck to them. I still stick to those, you know. We need to remember what are my non-negotiables in business, in love, you know, as a human being, for myself. And you guys, you live what you talk about. You know, you practice what you preach. In the words of the late great Barry White, practice what you preach. You know, and that's what I love about you all, the authenticity of it. Like Sinclair just said, you know, we might have been in a whole different spot had we just taken the black out. And isn't that a thing? That's crazy to me. And, you know, I'm not trying to go off on a tangent, but just the fact that the one word black, what that represents for so many people. Oh, well, if you take this out, you know, and just make it Wall Street, but you stay the course and you're very intentional. No, we need to talk about what's important to me. It needs to represent who I am for so many of us. And that's one thing that we, you know, like Lovey said, we're about love, but focusing on black love specifically is so important. It's not just so important for black people. Obviously it is, because there are so many who have never seen black folks stay together, loving on each other, not B word. Come on. All that N word ain't SHIT. You know what I'm saying? They need to see that, but not just our own community needs to see it. It needs to be seen. Everyone needs to see that, because that's the only way that that stereotype will change, when other people see it and they go, oh no, that's not what that represents. For far too long, it's always been, and they make fun of it even in the movies. Oh, your daddy ain't here. Oh, is he in prison? Oh, he on drugs, or he's selling weed or whatever on the corner. Oh, you got 15 baby daddies, or he got 5 baby mamas, or whatever. It's like, no, that is not. First of all, that does happen. Not gonna lie, obviously.
In every culture.
You stole it from me. That was my thunder, bruh. Dang, I was coming home with it. I feel like he took my home run. But that's in every single culture. But it's like, it's only okay for when you say it about black people. And unfortunately, a lot of black people go along with it because that's what they see in their community, you know. And it's always it's more perpetuated in the lower socioeconomic communities, you know. It's like you're almost saying, well, y'all don't know no better, so this is what we're going to put out there, and you're going to go along with it.
Well, I almost feel like there's a badge of honor of sorts that goes along with it, and it's a negative badge of honor, because we've had discussions with other couples. They've been like, oh, their family makes fun of them because they're like, oh, you guys are the Huxtables, you know.
Makes fun of us, yeah.
Whatever. And I've heard it from other couples.
Yep.
So there's representation, but for whatever reason, it's looked down upon. It's like, oh, you're not real. You know, you're not like us, you know, or that's not what I see. But, you know, you go visit them, or you go visit family, their next door neighbor, the whole family's there. Right. The guys across the street, the family's there. It's like, what are you talking about? There's representation everywhere. It's a matter of choice. Some people are choosing to proliferate a particular stereotype because it's what they're hearing in the media, you know, in music. It's what they're seeing in the movies. It's what they're seeing in games, you know, video games or what have you. And so that proliferation, again, we're back to the miseducation of America and its youth. And this whole premise of the venture capitalists saying, take out the word black. That bothers me to some extent, because there's a subtlety that goes along with that I think we're all subjected to, because there's a moment of consideration. I know that when we started the podcast, that we were like, okay, you know, what's going to be our emphasis? Are we going to focus just on, you know, us, on black couples, people of color, or was it going to be for everybody? And then we looked at a variety of different individuals that were in the space and what they were doing. And there was a nuance. And basically your tribe finds you. And we were like, okay, so what do we say? Do we call one thing out versus the other? And even when the very first time that we focused on Black history, it was like, okay, well, are we prepared for our listenership to go down? Because I think that there's going to be some impact, because there's a variety of people that listen to the show, that watch it, and then they might be like, oh, this doesn't have anything to do with me. So they just keep on scrolling. And that's a problem but I like your perspective, but my mindset is, and it's in line with you, where they're individuals. There's good meaning allies, but they've been inundated with, the wrong information.
Mm-hmm.
So there's good-hearted people that will say, oh, is your like teachers or whatever, are your parents married? Are they at home? They care, but they've been tainted with the wrong picture.
Mm-hmm.
I need that same individual to be like, somebody in the boardroom or in the classroom says, or in the teacher's lounge, oh, their parents probably aren't home. I need that same individual to be like, no, more than likely they are. I don't know what you've been seeing, but I need somebody to have that energy, but in a positive spin.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So this brings me to Black love. How do you, if you're talking about Black love, how does that differ from, it's almost like Black Lives Matter. No, white lives matter. It's like, how does Black love stand out to you in the respect that, well, why are you singling out Black love? Why is it so important for us to have that emphasis?
Oh, yeah. Queen, I know I've been kind of just jumping in because, we're talking about history and I'll be nerding out. Sorry. Do you want to go first? You want to go second? Because I'm about to go in.
Go ahead, man.
You sure?
Yeah, I feel you. You get
feel
the
it?
energy.
Oh, all right. So the reason why, for me, I say Black love and building a Black family is the most revolutionary thing that I believe you can do in today's world, specifically within America. Because since our ancestors arrived on this, some of them were already here, but since we arrived here 1619, our families have been broken up, right? We talk about, one mom having multiple baby daddies, right? That was a part of the breeding process when we were enslaved. They literally forced us to breed, forced us to separate from our moms and dad, took us to different plantations. So when we now fast forward 400 years and some of that is still occurring, whether that's through the prison industrial complex, when we had the war on drugs, and we're now going into Black communities, taking fathers, taking mentors away, right, and separating the Black family. It's been happening on cycle for generations ever since 1619. I think in 2024, we're getting to a rhythm where we're finally able to have Black love podcasts that celebrate this. We're finally able to scroll on Instagram and see people in Turks and Caicos and Greece and all these beautiful Black couples together on Instagram. But there was hundreds of years where we weren't able to really see or even dream of having that type of safety within the Black family. So for me, I think Black love is extremely important because there's been so many systems that have fought against it. So let's keep winning the fight. Let's keep promoting Black love. Let's keep being in Black love and just showing what it can be when it finally gets a chance to dream.
Yes, you better say something, Declare. You better say something. That's real talk.
Yeah, what I had to say was pretty much along the same lines, that I feel like Black love, what makes it different is that there's so many forces out there against it, that I feel like unless you take a stance to be very for it, you might fall into the default, right? You might fall into what everybody else tries to portray you and start to portray those same stereotypes and things like that, and just fall into the system, that tries to break up the Black family inadvertently. So I feel like you almost have to be intentional about, like, no, I'm going to promote and, stay strong in Black love, because otherwise all these outside forces can come in and try to break your family up and, just really taint your anybody's image and portrayal of Black love. So I think that's what makes it different and so important, is that there's so much out there trying to fight against Black love. In the self and in the community, romantically, in all forms.
In the self.
Yeah, I think in all forms, there are so many things out there trying to fight it. So I think that's what makes it so important that we do this work.
That is so, y'all just said bars right there. I mean, there's so many things that come to my mind. I feel like I need to taper myself down because I'm like super excited, especially when you talk about, like you brought up, first of all, De'Von, how that's just been in our history of families being torn apart. You know, I heard a saying, and I can't remember who said it, but it resonated with me. It's like you quit so much that it doesn't even hurt anymore. And so it's almost the same thing where we've seen this perpetuated with the what is that, the revolving door of the men or in the women or whatever, you know, being in, being out, being in, being out relationships, that it's just now it's just one of those, oh well, that's just how it is. So first of all, breaking that cycle, but then also Sinclair, what you said about all of the forces that are against us as far as Black love. It's so funny because for a while it was like, oh well, you know, Black men they can't be successful, and so, you know, they only had low level type of jobs. So now we've seen, well, obviously we knew that that wasn't true, but so now we've seen where they're successful, you know, oh, he's an executive, he's blah, 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 whatever, climbing the social ladder, the corporate ladder. So now it's like, okay, so maybe pretty much kind of got that underfoot. Y'all got that settled, taken care of. You squashed that. So now let's move over to the love side of it. Like, I want to see, and I know that they're out there, and I know that we've seen it too, but more on the forefront of the Black man with his family, with his wife, loving on her. It's like, so now we have to start another movement, I almost feel like, about how Black men love their women, how they love on their women. Like you said, being intentional, that's like a thing where you have to go out, and it shouldn't be, because I know plenty of men that, man, they talk about their women like they're like, shoot, I don't know where I would be if she wasn't here. You know, she's responsible for X, Y, and Z. So I feel like if more people coming up see that, because, you know, young dudes, they be, oh man, you a sucker. Oh man, blah, blah, blah. They seen the cool, you know,
what's portrayed as cool.
It's what's portrayed as cool. I could just relate it to Huggy Bear. I don't know if y'all know about Beretta back in the day, but Huggy Bear was cool in the mug, you know, so that's what they tried to emulate. So now if we see more, man, I'm finna go home to my wife. I'm going home to my woman. I'm going, and to their woman that they're committed to, not to the side piece on the side, or, you know, the whoever she is. You know, I'm not ever going to diss my sisters, but someone who is holding it down for them. If more of them are talking about that, then that makes it like, oh, it's okay to love one woman. Oh, it's okay to say I love her, to shower her with whatever, you know? So that needs to be shown more of.
Agreed. And I feel as if
she looked at me like, right?
right? Say something. Say something.
Say something. That was funny.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I agree. No, but I will say that, you know, one thing that we've been very intentional about is traveling, right? So we love to get out, get on a plane, take the family with us, do the things that we weren't. Look, when we were growing up, the family trip was, oh, you're going to go see your cousins in South Carolina, or your cousins, you know, you're going to go visit the family in Virginia. You're going to go up to Washington, and it's usually a road trip, right? Everybody, I remember jumping in a little
Pinto
1976. I don't even know what year it was, but it was like a 1970, it was like a early 1970s Celica with my grandparents, my aunt, my cousins, and we drove from Sacramento to Columbia, South Carolina.
That was vacation.
That was vacation. I wanted to call CPS because that was torture.
Save me.
Right.
But we're very intentional about taking, you know, our grandson, our daughters, to other places in the world so they can see it. And I love it, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I hate it when we go to places and we happen to be the only African Americans that are there. And I'm looking around and it's like, really? You know, I mean, come on, where are we at?
Right.
And
Where is this?
where's the
Where
representation,
we
right?
at?
And then
Right.
when we see somebody, we're like, whoa, hey, how you doing? You know, we friends for life.
Right.
We met a couple in Jamaica that that happened to be from North Carolina, and we're like, okay, we're to this day we connect, we're friends, because we had these conversations like we're having right now, but in another country, and there needs to be more of that. And I think that Black love, at least for us, let me speak for me, is something that my children need to see and know that we're not
right.
unicorns.
That's right.
Yeah.
That it's something that should be the expectation again.
Right. Make it normal.
Right? We go back. I'm going to go back to Atomic Habits, right? And James Clear. There's a quote in there. It's written in my workout room that we do not rise to the level of our expectations. We fall to the level of our training. The most basic expectation is that as human beings, if you're Christian, Christ said, the greatest commandment was to love your neighbor. And I believe that we need to show love, not contempt, not, anger, all these other things, towards each other. And our children need to see us loving on each other.
That's right.
They've never seen us argue because it happens behind closed doors. And to me, that's another manifestation of Black love, that we let them know that we have to find a way to work things out and not just like, oh, that's it. I'm done with you. I'm out.
Or work them out in a loving manner. It's okay. That was just our practice. Like, our kids don't need to be involved in adult things as far as seeing us argue or what have you. Most of the time, he's arguing about them, but they see the love, and it's so funny because they're just like, oh God, here they go again. Can you stop? Do you have to kiss? Do you have to? But as they grew up, they were like, our oldest daughter, she's like, I just want someone like Dad. And I'm like, well, you'll find him. You're still kind of young right now. I was like, I didn't meet your dad until I was, I think, 27, 26, 27. So, you still got a few more years to go before you find that one. You got to be ready for him, though, because you see how your dad is. He is like, hey, whatever, you got to be ready for that.
You ain't ready. You ain't ready for it.
You ain't ready for it. You ain't ready for it. But that needs to be what's normal, not when you get mad, like I said earlier, saying the B word, saying the F word, and slamming out, and, not coming home for days or whatever. That has been normalized in so many households that, again, it's just normal. It doesn't even faze them. I want it to faze you. If that ever happened here, they gonna know that, the world's changing or something, if we act that way, because that's not normal,
Right. And I want to get back. There's another aspect of Black love. It just occurred to me.
What was it?
The nod. Can we get back to the nod?
I still do the nod.
Can we get back?
I don't do it this way, though. I do it the mature way now. I'm like, how are you?
It went from the what's up to, I acknowledge you.
I acknowledge you, sister. Right.
Absolutely.
Pretty much.
We give them a Wakanda salute.
Right.
But it's funny because, but I will be honest with you. So in the little town that we live in, when we first moved here, there weren't very many African Americans that were in the city. And
in the town.
In
it's
the
not
town.
a city.
It is a
It's
city.
It's a town.
More and more people have been moving. It's been becoming more eclectic. People from the Bay Area have been moving in. But I've also noticed that when I go into the stores and I see somebody and I give a nod, they're focused. They just keep on walking. And I'm like, what happened to, the public acknowledgement? I think that's a form of love.
I think it just depends on who it is, because that has happened to me before. And I'm staring you down like, I know you saw me. I wanted to say it out loud too. I know you saw me, right? You better say hi or you speak or whatever. But I've had where some are still excited, like, and then others just act like they don't see you. And it's like, you saw me. You better say hi to me.
I feel like we have to really think about why that is, right? And I think the Queen said something earlier when you were talking about love. You were like, there's barriers to love, including internal self barriers.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
when you look at somebody in the grocery store, you acknowledge, I know I'm black, I know I'm beautiful, I see you, I think you're black, I think you're beautiful, I'm just acknowledging what's up. Maybe they don't want to be seen. And you have to think about, why is it that they don't want the acknowledgement, right? Whether it's when they're seen, maybe them being seen as a black person is usually negative. I'm going into a store, they think I'm about to steal something. I'm a black man. They may be afraid, whatever it is, they've conditioned themselves to not want to be seen and get the acknowledgement. So that's why there's that barrier. So I think, yes, we definitely give the head nods whenever we can, but also thinking of like, I wonder what's going on with that person to why they don't want that acknowledgement today.
I think about that too, though. To be honest, I'm like, well, why would you not? But and also, like you said, because we live in a small town, and maybe you don't want to be like, oh, I don't want to be put in the group with, for lack of a better word, with the black kids. But it's like, well, the first thing that people notice about me, they don't know that I'm sweet. They don't know I'm nice. They don't know how smart I am. The first thing they notice, I'm a black woman. And not even because what if I might not be identifying as a woman, but they know that I am black. I am African American. That's the first thing that they see. So it's not a trait that you can hide from, but it's one that maybe, like you just pointed out, De'Von, they don't want it to be acknowledged because it makes them different and stand out. To see two black people talking in the store together, that brings attention. So
What they
He's right. So be
right.
careful.
Well, is there a sale?
exactly. So I had to learn to give grace, even though I still frown upon it. But I'm giving grace because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep it moving because someone else is gonna want to talk to me. So
All right.
Good
okay,
experience
sorry.
yesterday in San Francisco. We were just walking down the street, and then there was a dude that was like, "Hey, what's up, black man?" I was like, "Oh, what's going on, King?" All right, and it was a good little exchange. I had no idea who that dude was. He was just outside the bowling alley. He was like, "What's up, black man?" He was like, "All right, cool. Thank you, San Francisco. Appreciate you."
That's so funny. That's how my brother acknowledges every black person. What's up,
Mhm.
black? Every black man, I should say. He always says, "What's up, black man?" We'll be on the phone and he'll say it. I'm like, can you not just say hi? He's like, nah, I'm acknowledging. I was like, okay, bro, I feel you.
I can tell him I don't know if he knows these people or not because he's just so he'll be like, oh, what's up? Oh, yeah, and I'm just like, oh, did you know them? He's like, no, I just met them right now. And I'm like, oh, okay, y'all act like y'all was childhood friends,
Look,
like.
look, that's the black love, right? That's the black love when you reunite with a long lost cousin that you've never met before ever, right? They're just out there connected through melanin. That's the black love.
That's what's
I
up.
like that. And that's a different kind of black love that's not romantic, but it still should be included in this black love episode. So thank you for bringing that up and making that point because that is the black love.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So let me give you another form of black love. What I want to know is, tell us why Essence Magazine has saw fit on multiple occasions to list your game, Black Wallstreet, as a
I
must-have.
must have.
Look, you got to ask Essence. You know what I'm saying? They doing something right. That's all I know. That's all I know. But I mean, you have to think about the purpose of Essence is what's their mission statement? It's like a party with a purpose is what I think their Essence Festival is called, right? So when you think of the board game, you're bringing together people from hopefully different generations, different walks of life, different experiences for a purpose to play this game for a particular purpose, right? Um, and I think it highlights in a very fun way Black excellence, right? Which unfortunately is why we created the game. When we looked at a lot of the Black board games that were created, they were built on some of those trauma incidents. They were built on some of those stereotypes instead of highlighting Black excellence. Our board game has no jail at all, right? There's libraries, there's parks, there's Black owned businesses. So it's just a place where your imagination can be free, right, within playing the game. It sparks conversations from different generations. We did a game night at a high school the other day, and it was all grown folks playing around the board game that hadn't met each other before. And as they were playing the game and different cards were coming up, they started talking about their own grandparents, right? And 80 years ago, how their family came from Arkansas, their family came from Alabama, and they're just now talking about multiple generations of Black families and Black love all around this board game as the centerpiece for conversation. So I think Essence, whatever their reasoning is, they're doing a great job. They're an amazing establishment. We're honored to be a part of their editorial online.
And just, I think, piggybacking off of that, again, hopefully what I hope they're seeing is, again, the intention that we've put in the game, and that, like you said, it highlights a lot of the Black excellence. And I want to go back to the jail thing very quick, because that's another very intentional decision we made. And also going back to the same game night, I remember we were kind of just walking around helping people get set up, and if they had questions about how to play the game. And I got called over to one table with some young ones, and they were like, "Oh, I noticed, so there's no jail in this board game?" And I was like, "No, there's no jail. Safe spaces only. You got the library, you got the park, like those are the safe spaces on the board game." And they were like, "Ah, okay, that's cool." But I'm like, the fact that they're even conditioned to look for a jail on the board game, I'm like, what is that telling us about what they look for, not only in this microcosm of a situation, but I'm just like, what type of inception is going on in the brain, and how that affects how they show up in real life? How are they looking for that in real life? So it broke my heart a little bit that they was even looking for it, but I obviously know, like, it is incorporated in other games. So I know that, in this setting, you're used to seeing a space where this happens. But again, I can't help but think how that is conditioned, not just the Black community, but just people in general, to look for jail on a board game.
That's so good, because I feel like even in relationships, right, tying that back to what we see in Black love, like oftentimes people ask us, like, do y'all even argue? Do y'all yell at each other or something? And it's like, like we had like our version of an argument at
we were like, yeah, what you just saw, that was it.
Yeah, we had like a little tiff at brunch, and it was just a normal conversation. And then we were like, yeah, we just argued at brunch. Y'all were there. Like, you didn't see that? They're like, that is not arguing. But it's interesting that we're trained to look for those trauma points, right? We're trained to look for the abuse. We're trained to look for the argument, trained to look for the jail, the raised voice. Like, we're like conditioned to feel like that is the normal Black experience. So I just wanted to really, that was a great point. And then we've been talking about the game, and I don't know if y'all have been seeing it in the background. We do got the second edition of the game right here. This is Black Wallstreet, the board game. Unfortunately, this current edition right here is sold out and is no longer in production. But we have our latest edition of the game called the Classic Edition, which is even better, higher quality. That game is available at playblackwallstreet.com for anybody who's interested in bringing this amazing conversation experience to your families. Play Black Wall Street. Appreciate you.
There you go. That's what's up.
Now, is volume 2, is that the one with the black cover?
So the Masterpiece Edition is technically the third iteration or edition of the game. That one is also still available. Beautiful. What we did with that one was we did a call out to artists from around the world, and we asked them, what does Black excellence look like to you? Or what does the future of Black Wall Street look like to you? They painted their different paintings. We purchased the rights to those paintings, and then they're featured now on our board. And only 3,000 of the Masterpiece Black Box will ever be made. The Classic Edition is the one that just came out like 2 weeks ago. Technically, that's our fourth edition, but that's going to be called Classic, and that's going to be our new flagship. Like, that's going to be the one that we sell to schools all around the world, families forever. That's going to be our new go-to.
This is dope, because I haven't opened up the Masterpiece Edition, because I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I'm anticipating in 10 years, I'm gonna put that thing on eBay.
See
what
what
my millions.
Right.
You and my grandma.
Right.
And no, but I think it's the one thing that I didn't recognize was the call out about no jail. And I love that, because I honestly, now I had to start like, I need to go throw that other M game out in the trash.
They go to jail.
Yeah, where they go to jail. I'm like, that needs to get out of our cupboard.
He said, "Get that out of here
and disappear altogether." So I'm going to challenge you. At some point, we're doing some reconstruction right now at the house, and we want to get back to having our Married into Crazy dinners. We'll invite 3 to 4 couples occasionally over to the house, and we would chop it up, have conversations. We're going to start to actually have some content down the road. But you've given me the thought now that there needs to be board nights board
Yeah.
game night where we sit around and we play Black Wallstreet. And if you're ever back up in the Sacramento area, I might even want to coordinate a
Easy.
night where you come through and you kind of facilitate the
Easy.
game and we capture that and also the conversations that it sparks.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Easy.
that's real.
Yeah, so that's what we do for our game nights, right? So we'll have families, we'll have scholars, and we'll have a presentation. I don't know how deep you want us to do it when we come to the house. I don't know we're going to do a presentation, but we usually go through like a little bit of the history of Tulsa Black Wallstreet, highlight some entrepreneurs. We set up the games, let them play. We'll stop, but all right, after, the first round, who owns a business, who doesn't own a business, what markets do you own, what
That'd be
entrepreneurs
dope.
have you engaged with? So we make it a full-on event. So we're happy to donate a classic edition to these endeavors. And next time we're up here in Sacramento, we'll make it happen.
That
Absolutely.
would be so dope.
I
Yes,
love that.
I love that. Like Lovey said, I love history, and sometimes it's hard for me to, I won't say sometimes, a lot of times, it's hard for me to watch, the historical things from the past, especially dealing with African Americans. I'm like, I gotta go out here to the store. If somebody look at me sideways, I'm be like, what? I just watched,
Right.
So I have to learn how to. I've learned, but it still affects me emotionally. And I remember the first time that we played Black Wallstreet, and I think I hit y'all up because I was like, "How dare you put that card in here?" I was so. I mean, the way that the effect that it had on me, but at the same time, like you said, it. Sinclair, you said it earlier. It's not just about highlighting what happened, but the businesses that were owned. Look at what we did, y'all. Look at where we came from. Look at what we did. So hopefully, for those that play this game, you'll remember that, yes, this traumatic event happened, because everyone needs to know about it. But also, you need to know about, we talk about us being overcomers, but I want y'all to see that this was a real business. It's not made up, it's not Sally's Beauty Supply, whatever. It was real. We had some real stuff going on. And that was back in the day when we had to only rely on ourselves, So that would be so dope.
So if I haven't done it already, let me apologize for that night, because I think it might have been close to midnight. And if you remember, I started texting De'Von like,
Hey,
I was like, bruh, it is full scale war up here in this house playing this game. People
Yeah,
were
it
making
was.
moves. There were discussions taking place. I was
It
like,
was great though.
this thing is brilliant.
Yeah, it was
Absolutely
great.
brilliant. And anyways, just kudos to you. So I heard you mention, we're going to come to a close, but I heard you mention speaking engagements. Where do people go to find out all the different things that the M4 show is doing, what you're doing with Black Wallstreet, the game, and all your efforts to kind of, what do I want to say, to balance out the misrepresentation and the miseducation of America?
yes, sir.
Yeah. So for the podcast, them4show.com is the best place to go, where you can find all of our episodes, all the resources we got going on there for Black Wallstreet and those endeavors. Playblackwallstreet.com is the website where you can look us up. And we also there's a specific one for educators in there, right? A specific button, or is that on the website?
No, it's you just go to Academy. So on the website, go ahead and click on Academy, or click on Contact Us. Reach out, say, hey, we're at this high school, we're at this elementary school. We want y'all to come out and do a speak engagement on history of Black Wallstreet, on how to start a business, on introduction to Afrofuturism, whatever it is that you're thinking your students need within that time. Let us know. Reach out. We're happy to make the experience happen.
You can also reach out to us via email at info@playblackwallstreet.com if you just want to kind of pick our brains a little bit and see what our offerings are. We do have some flyers and contents and things that we can send to you if that's something that's interesting.
It's amazing.
I'm gonna send I'm gonna have to connect. Our cousin's an educator, and I'm gonna have to connect her with you guys, because in my mind, there. And all those people that we've learned about for many years, of course, they're very important, but we need to know about this, what happened in Tulsa. We need to know about Wall Street, Black Wallstreet.
Yeah.
Not that the boycott, Montgomery, all of that wasn't important, but we need to see what happened, the triumph that People own stuff. You know what I'm saying? We need to know that needs to be incorporated into Black history because we, like I said, not that any of it is not important, but like you said earlier, there's so many people who I know that it was destroyed, and I'm not gonna lie, because I got it confused with Rosewood when I very first, very first heard about it, because I was like, oh yeah, I remember, because I saw that was not the same. So I'm just gonna make a shout out to a plea, I should say, and ask for all the educators, get in touch with them, because people need to know about this. All people.
If I remember correctly, a year or two ago, it seems like it was a year or two ago, there was a sponsorship that took place in the National Basketball Association in the NBA, correct? Where there was a major player that ended up buying a bunch of games and sharing them with athletes so they can educate themselves in entrepreneurship and understand, how to deal with their money and start shifting mindset, right? Who was that and how did that come about?
That was shout out to Drew and Lauren Holiday and their social impact fund. So they have a cohorts of Black owned businesses that they provide grants to, and all these businesses are creating social impact across the nation. So we were honored to be a part of that cohort group. And then the Queen was able to meet Drew and Lauren Holiday in person, gave them a board game. And then from there, Drew was just like, can you get like a lot of these, and can we send them out? I got some ideas, and then I'll let the Queen take the story from there.
Oh yeah, he was just, when I handed it to him, I went up back afterwards and just thank you again. We just appreciate everything. I gave him a masterpiece edition too. You can have all the editions, right? We're just very but he was just looking at it like, and I could just, the admiration he had on his face just from looking at the box was just like, man, this is really cool. Like, I want to gift these out. Can we get in touch? And we worked with his team, and turned out he wanted to send one to every single player in the NBA as a present. So we worked with his team. We made all the logistics happen. So every single, it was like over 500 board games that we sent out across the country and in Canada to all of the players. So it was an honor for, again, him to see in that moment, like, wow, this is great, as he's holding it, but also the fact that he thought so highly of it to send it out, on behalf of him, send it out to every single player in the NBA. That, it meant a lot to us, that he was not only supporting our business in that way, but that he believed in our business and our mission so much so that he would support it, with his dollars, which is important.
Right. It's unfortunate that he had to go to the Celtics. We're Laker fans, but it's always love, Drew. It's always love.
No, and I wanted to highlight that because I need people to understand that this isn't something that's being constructed in a garage and you're going to get it with some duct tape. And this is a high value, high production board game with immense value, generational value, to be played with the entire family. And you have a family gathering. Go ahead.
Yeah, if I can add more to that, like that value that you're talking about. Of course, there's the board game, right? And the experience of the board game, which in itself is valuable. But then if you actually are one of the players that opens up the rule book, and it's rare, not a lot of people open it up. But if you do open up that rule book, there's financial key terms. There's a business model canvas to help you or your family go from idea to product to audience to brand within, again, like a game type of context. There's 7 steps to launch your business. There's examples of articles of incorporation. Like this, there's a whole empowerment pack inside of the rule book to help families all across the world, all across America, start businesses and build wealth, right? So yes, it's a game, but the game is a catalyst. The game is a launch pad to actually live the life that they were living 100 years ago in Tulsa's Black Wallstreet today, bring those values to today, right? So I just wanted to harp on that. There's extreme value inside the game for those that want it.
I have an idea, and I'm going to plant the seed now, and I need us to figure out how we make this happen, if we can, if there's a way to scale it. There's another company that approached us about partnering regarding a date night, a virtual date night. I would love to get a virtual game night together where we have people all across the world that are playing Black Wall Street, the game, all at the same time, camera set up, and just capturing all the people having fun and arguments. And then we could highlight different households that are actually playing and, getting it going. And I think that could be fun. It could be completely chaotic, but it could be a whole lot of fun in the process and raising awareness about the important work, the important and fun work that you are putting out there to create legacy for all of our families. I think that would be huge.
Love it. I love it. That's something that I think is great for April, Financial Literacy Month, or even around Juneteenth, as we talk about, Black freedom and Black liberation around Juneteenth. That could be a good event too. But yeah, I like the idea of just a family game night, right? This day, everyone play the game, stream on Instagram, YouTube, join a eCam link, whatever we can do, and just join the fun and share that love with everybody. It sounds fun.
I like that.
All right, yeah, let's connect. Let's definitely talk about that.
Really.
Look, y'all, we talking about connecting. What are you going to do to connect? So as we close out, where you can actually reach them. You know what you need to do. I'm giving a call to action right now. Go to playbblackwallstreet.com.
Lord, today.
Get the game. Get multiple games. Gift the games. You can sponsor people for the Academy, do a variety of things, but we want you to go there, support them, check out the M4 show. So it'll all be in our show notes. We want you to get out there and keep an eye out also for something that we may be able to put together down the road, because I'm really excited about the prospect of being able to create fun in homes, but do it with intention.
Right.
We are extremely excited and thankful for the two of you joining us today.
Very
Any
thankful.
parting words as we kind of close out this episode?
Yes, sir. Well, first off, I just want to, of course, always say thank you for the invitation and for what y'all do, right? Keeping it authentic, keeping it real, and just making sure that you're showing Black love in different ways. But I really like the perspective of today's podcast. I'm a big history nerd, so talking about Black history is always great. I'm also a huge romantic, so talking about love is great. So I love the way that y'all fuse this. And hopefully to be able to see more of this even throughout the year, because I think this is a really good niche for what we're talking about. So again, just thank y'all for the vision, for the invitation.
Yes, and just piggybacking off of that, always love hanging out with y'all, even virtually. It's always a good time. We always have really good, constructive conversations. I also loved today's lens of pretty much every question you asked, I peeped it, was on Black love, but with a different lens. So I really appreciated that, and also just appreciate you all for the revolutionary work that you are doing. It's really, really refreshing to see, and always happy to be on your platform.
Thank you so much for that. And it's so funny because before y'all started talking, I was going to say one thing I want other people to understand, and those that may not see you guys, this is a young couple. And their focus is on educating and enlightening, and nothing wrong with going out having a good time or whatever, but because they do that. Seen their pictures, they be traveling and doing their thing.
Right.
But I'm saying, so many, they could have been doing something different, but what they want to do is bring back the value in the Black community, in the Black love, and let other people see they're not ashamed of their love. That's what I love about y'all so much. They are not ashamed to show it, because he be like, when the queen come, I'm like, do you even know her real name? Because that is the queen. I've never heard him say Sinclair. That is queen. That is queen. He loves his wife. He loves her, and she loves him too. But just to see that is so refreshing, and I love it. I really, really do love it. So, everybody, y'all go support them, because they are a young couple. And they are doing the daggone thing, for the community and stuff. And we need more of that, the representation that you're showing. And we appreciate you guys taking time out of your busy schedule to even just grace us old heads, with your presence and your young energy. We love it.
Okay. I'm going to apologize. I'm going to put you on the spot, De'Von.
Yeah.
Do you still, I'm just curious, if you don't, then we just keep it moving. Do you still say your mantra?
I'm Devale, king of creativity and imagination, the enemies of perfection. I was made in God's image, learning to recognize my reflection. I love my queen. Her presence and love is a blessing. I was made to motivate and educate, so prepare for a lesson. There it is. There it is.
There it is.
That's
There it
what's
is.
up.
That's what I love. I
He said,
love
I
that.
love my queen. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
So,
Thank you for blessing us.
as you can see, I don't say it every day, but I said it the other day when we had a little bit of a mastermind where we had some couples, we were going through goals, and I did talk about the importance of words and the importance of just how are you ingraining your values. And then I talked about the mastermind that we used to have where we all get up in the morning, talk about our mantras, and I said my mantra then. So I need to get back to either that mantra or create a new one because I do love how it makes me feel and how it just really reminds me of what I care about.
I'm surprised you remembered.
It's there.
It's
It's there.
there.
It's in that subconscious
Right.
because you say it so often.
Yeah.
That's the power.
That's right. That's right. You know, okay, we might have you back for another one. We might bring some of the kings together with the king of mantras, with Terrell Muhammad, and sit down and talk about the importance of words, what they mean, and how what we do with them contributes to a higher level of love, self-love, and the love that we're able to share with our queens.
Yep.
So, hey, with that said, everybody, we want to thank you for joining us today. We want to thank you for taking a moment to listen to this amazing couple and partaking in the nuggets that they shared with us. We want to implore you to pay attention to the show notes, the links that are there, pay homage to some of the different links that are there. Check them out. And as always, please share the podcast, invite others to participate. We want to raise awareness about being married into crazy, that compassionate, real, accountable, zealous, and yielding love that we truly believe is necessary and important to have in every single household.
That's right.
So until the next time, be blessed.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey. Please like, subscribe to, and review the show wherever you access it, and tell a friend about us. Visit marriedintocrazy.com and see how Snooks and Lovey can bless your marriage directly.